You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Come back. Road Trends for Black and White Sports. We're going to talk about Russian state television broadcasters, the Olympics, and transgender and gay Olympic athletes, because the IOC is having to investigate for some disparaging comments made during broadcasting during these, let's keep it real, woke Olympics. All right, it is what it is. There's been a couple of nice stories coming out lately from the Olympics, but it doesn't matter. It's still a dumpster fire. And overall, it's been something that the ratings have just reflected that people are not tuning into. And look, a lot of it's got to do with virtue signaling and things like that. Let's get to this. This is from Fox News. IOC looking into Russian state TV broadcasters' disparaging comments about transgender and gay Olympic athletes. Laurel Hubbard failed to medal after she didn't record a clean lift. The IOC launched an investigation into Russian state television over disparaging remarks host and guest made towards transgender and gay athletes. Alexei Zurevlov, a Russian politician, aimed his ire at New Zealand transgender weightlifter Laurel Hubbard, saying he was disgusted by gay and transgender people, according to the BBC. TV host Anatoly Khrushchev called transgender people psychopaths as well. The rhetoric prompted a statement from the IOC. We have been in contact with our contractual broadcasting partner in Russia in order to get clarity on the situation and to underline the fundamental principles of the Olympic Charter, and we are following up accordingly, an IOC spokesperson told the BBC. The IOC is covering its ASS right now. Hubbard's participation in the Olympics raised questions about fairness, but the IOC expressed support for him, good God, ahead of and during the Olympics. Dr. Richard Budget, low budget, the IOC's medical and science director, backed Hubbard's right to compete in the games while acknowledging the issue over Hubbard competing was large, difficult, and complex. To put it in a nutshell, the IOC had a scientific consensus back in 2015, Budget said, via The Guardian, quote, "There are no IOC rules or regulations about transgender participation. That depends on each international federation. So Laurel Hubbard is a woman." They are saying this. I am not. So Laurel Hubbard is a woman and is competing under the rules of her federation, and we have to pay tribute to her courage and tenacity in actually competing and qualifying for the games. Why is that? It's a biological male that's going out and competing against biological females. Why exactly is that being celebrated? What makes that heroic exactly? Can you tell me? Why is that more important than the biological women that are competing in the sport? You know, it's one thing. It's bad enough to let a biological male compete against biological women, but it's another thing to make them act like they're more important than the biological women that work to get there to begin with. Good God. Budget said it was tough to flat out say that Hubbard had an advantage by going through male puberty. Well, of course he did, when there's many factors that go into account. He said it wasn't as simple as it sounded and said each sport should make its own assessment on transgender athletic participation. Why not? It seems to me like the IOC should come up with a steadfast rule that covers all sports. It's ridiculous. There is a lot of disagreement across the whole world of sports and beyond on this issue of eligibility. Everyone agrees transgender women are women. No, everybody doesn't agree with that. We do not agree with that. but it's a matter of eligibility for the sport and particular events, and it really has to be very sport specific. Okay. One of the reasons there is no framework published yet is not just because of the difficulty in coming to any consensus. It's because it would have to have been inappropriate to come out with new guidelines just before the Olympics. Okay. There will be new framework to help individual sports, and we're working very closely with them, but it's not published yet. Hubbard transitioned 8 years ago at 35. This guy was a grown-ass man. Middle-aged man at 35 years old. Hubbard was 43 entering Olympic competition. The IOC previously said Hubbard met all the requirements for trans athletes in fair competition. Among those, the athletes must demonstrate that their testosterone level is below a specific measurement for at least 12 months prior to their first competition. It's only 12 months? Okay. Hubbard didn't medal at the Olympics after failing to register a clean lift. That is what you call karma, in my opinion. Look, the IOC is doing its part to CYA so the mainstream media doesn't get a hold of the IOC and seek and destroy, because CNN, MSDNC, all these media outlets will get a hold of this if they don't come down on these Russian broadcasters because they said some things that one could construe as being rude, maybe. Okay? Flat rude. But look, I mean, even this article, we had to listen to the IOC make statements about Hubbard, and they're making these blanket statements. Everybody agrees that these are women. No, everybody doesn't agree with that at all. I'd say there's a lot of people that don't agree with that. Laurel Hubbard, in my opinion, is a male. Okay? He can call himself a transgender, whatever he wants to, all he wants to. He was born a biological man, and he's competing against biological women. Okay? It seems to me like fate stepped in, and he couldn't register a clean lift, so he was out. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand why people believe that really and truly, this is so accepted and so normal. I don't know. I don't like the blanket statements of everybody agrees that these are women. No, everybody doesn't agree with that. In fact, I got to be honest with you. Most people I know, maybe all the people I know, would say, no, that's a male. That's a male competing against females. I mean, there's no other way that I can look at it. And let's go back to these statements real fast. I want to just, once again, this guy says he was disgusted. Yeah, that's probably inappropriate for TV. And calling transgender people psychopaths, that's probably inappropriate for TV. Okay, I can maybe get, hey, if you don't agree with their lifestyle, just don't address the lifestyle or the choices. The problem is the choices and the lifestyles are now bleeding over into actual sports competition. That's where things become cloudy. Then you also have the barrier between being from another country with another culture, and you're trying to force that other culture and other country to comply with however the mainstream media is looking at these situations, let's say in the U.S. alone. I mean, that's sort of a hard thing to try to police and try to regulate and try to expect from these broadcasters, because, yeah, their culture's a hell of a lot different than where our culture is going right now. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm not. Wow. This is crazy. Look, probably not appropriate for TV. All right, I get that. But I think, in my opinion, this is more of a virtue signal from the IOC before the media smells blood in the water and decides to go after these Russian broadcasters and then bring all this extra attention to the Olympics. Come on. Anyway, tell me what you think, black and white sports fans. I cannot just come out and say, oh yeah, this has to be accepted. No. A lot of people don't agree with these people being able to enter competition. And by these people, I'm talking about biological men pretending to be women. Sorry. Tell me what you think, black and white sports fans. We're going to keep it real. Peace. I'm out.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.